day. For the last few weeks, we've had nothing but rain. It actually rained yesterday and the day before. So we've had the hardest time being able to get the plants out of the greenhouse into the ground. I've got my squash and zucchini planted. Oh gosh, I think I did that about a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks now, and they're doing good. But we've got tomatoes and cucumbers and peppers and all kinds of stuff in the greenhouse that we need to get out here because guess what? Tomorrow it's going to rain. The squash and zucchini are loving being in the ground. They're putting off some blossoms for us. And yesterday, when the ground had dried enough for Pop to get out here, he came out here with the tiller and he tilled between the rows because all that rain was causing the grass to come back up. As you can tell here on top of the rows, we're going to need to do something about that. But it looks much, much better. I'm telling you, the grass was about to take over. And looky here, y'all. We got a baby squash already coming up. Got another one popping up over here. And one over there on that plant as well. You can see from the outside in how big those plants are getting in there. They are ready to get in the ground. Just look at that. They're doing great inside here. And look at all those blossoms that are popping up. It's now or never. We got to get these in the ground. Pop went up to the workshop and got some much needed supplies for us to go ahead and put our trellises up for our cucumbers. So we're about to get busy getting some plants in the ground. What you doing, Pop?
Make us a trellis for our cucumbers.
Woohoo! Pop just asked me if we had any cucumbers ready to go in the ground. Those are our cucumbers. I think they're ready. All right. So it turns out we got 75 feet here for our cucumbers. So what Pop did was he ran these T-posts all the way down. We started with the ones on the ends, then we measured halfway, then halfway again, until we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these T-posts. And so now what he's doing is he's running the trellis netting, so we'll be able to have the cucumber something to grab onto as they grow. This is it. This square right here.
This one where I got my hand.
Got your hand?
Yeah.
All right. So we're just weaving this in and out. There it is. Of the T-post to make sure.
Yeah, you know, we're not going to do it real tight.
Am I staying on track? Yeah.
Last time we did it too tight, and then a deer ran through it, made big holes in it.
Sure did.
Looked like a spider web.
Poor thing. It made its way out safely. It didn't harm it, which was good. But it sure did probably give it a good...
You can see where the deer ran down through that field over there with a little net.
He drug it across the field. Does that get it?
Yeah.
All righty.
And I guess we just go to the next one.
Keep on till we get them all.
Well, since we got it all stretched out, now we're just putting these little plastic ties on here to hold the net on there. One thing we learned last year when we put this stuff up, this stuff really, it lasts through the weather and everything. It's a nylon cord. Actually ordered this whole roll off of Amazon. It's a big roll. I guess it's probably had about 500 feet on here. So you could use it again the next year, depending on how many feet you need. But yeah, got it off of Amazon. And then they also got this Memphis Paper and Twine or netting company that's in Memphis that sells a real good net too. This turned out to be cheaper though. But anyway, what I was trying to say is last year we stretched it so tight that, you know, deer ran through it and took off with it. So we're hoping this year I just let it be a little bit looser. Maybe they'll get out of it instead of running right through it, and snapping it. Another thing I thought about doing is I like to save every time we open a can of corn or any kind of vegetable like that. I like to save the cans, and we do crafts with it and put them around our plants to protect them when they're little and that kind of thing. But I also take the lid when you cut it off, and you drill a little hole in it, and you can tie them on here, and it'll flip around in the wind, and that'll scare the deer and stuff off. That'll keep them from running through it like a reflection at night. So now I'm just going to continue on putting these ties on here to hold it together. My favorite part's down here, getting down here real low. Of course, you know I'm joking. Y'all not helping none.
So we went down the teat post and we used these zip ties to hold this netting in place. And we did this all the way down on every single one of them. It's looking real good so far. And now that we got the netting all put up, it's time to get all these beautiful cucumber plants in the ground. So now Pop is going down and he's using this little tool and he's going ahead and making the holes for the cucumbers. And they're supposed to be around 30 inches apart. So what we're going to do is we're going down one side, put them 30 inches apart.
Well, what it is, it'll really be about 15 inches apart, but what we're doing is we're going to do 30 inches apart on this side, and then they'll be 30 inches apart on this side, and they'll be staggered, every 15 inches.
What he said it better. While Pop is doing that, I'm going to get ready to get these cucumbers in the ground. Now, the way we're going to keep up with what we're planting is I'm going to sort these varieties out, and as I plant them in the ground, I'm going to make notation in this garden journal so we can keep up with what variety we grew, where the seeds come from, and that'll help us to understand what varieties do best each year. We're going to know what in the world it is we're growing and where we're growing it at. We went through and separated our varieties, and we've gone ahead and dropped some in the ground just there in the pots. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to actually get these plants in the ground. These two knuckleheads are supervising. So what happened was Dixie there, she took one of my gloves out of my garden cart right here, and she was playing with it. And well, Daisy took it from her, and she's throwing a fit. Oh, there she goes. She found her opportunity. Yeah, she's... Them two are a hoot. Y'all are so funny. Hopefully y'all can see me. Try to put you down here on eye level while we get these plants in the ground. Here, Pop back there, he's driving more T-posts because we have more cucumber plants than this row right here we made will hold. So I got the plant out of the pot, and I'm just kind of loosening up the roots a little bit before I stick it there in the ground. And then I'm just covering it up with some good old soil. And I'm going to tell y'all what, we're blessed at how rich this soil is here where we moved to. It is such a blessing. Let the 2025 cucumber growing season begin. Ooh, I see a lot of good homemade pickles and relish in our future. Just in case that wasn't the best angle, I'm going to go ahead and show y'all from hopefully a bird's eye view. So I got my little cucumber plant. I'm going to take it there out of the pot. And I'm just going to kind of open up those roots a little bit and stick it there in the ground. And then put some good old soil around it. And this one's already putting off blossoms and some feelers, so it won't take long. And they're going to grab a hold of this trellis and just grow right on up. And I'll probably come out here every other day or so as they continue to grow and help them weave through this netting. Well, we got all the cucumbers in the ground. And it's a real good thing that Pop went out and put up this other section for cucumbers because we ended up needing it. So every single one of our plants are now in the ground. And boy, are we looking forward to this harvest. So now that we got the cucumbers in the ground, now I'm going to work on getting some tomatoes. Pop's taking care of something else, and I'm just going to start working on tomatoes. You see all these cages we got right here? Well, some of these Pop bought me at Lowe's one year, probably about maybe 8, 10 of them, but the majority of them I actually found on a curb, two different curbs, 2 different times. So like, say I was rolling down the road, y'all, these gnats and bugs, I tell you. Anyway, I'm rolling down the road one day when we was still living in the city in the Bartlett area, and lo and behold, somebody had done a spring cleaning and laid a whole bunch of these tomato cages out on the road. Well, I pulled right on over, picked them up, no shame in my game. And then another time, I'm driving down the road in another part of town. Sure enough, somebody else had put some and laid them on the curb. So I whipped in there and I picked them up. I also have right there, you can see inside the greenhouse, I have some steaks, tomato steaks. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get very carefully in here and get these cages out so I can, I'm going to utilize these first. Put as many tomatoes in the ground and put the cages around them as I can. And then as I run out of cages, then I'll start using those steaks right there. We're eventually going to get us a pole barn so we can better store this kind of stuff. And this has been sitting out here over the winter. I feel safe just going on and grabbing these and getting them out of the way. Got a little bit of, what do you call it? Spider web on them, but that'll be okay. And I'm hoping to heavens there are no slithering, slimy friends underneath there. I don't want to just reach down in there. I got to be careful. All right, so far so good. I've got these loaded up here in my little garden cart, and I'm probably bitten off more than I can chew because that's just what I do. But I'm going to try and get these down to the part of the garden where we're going to put in the tomato plants. Now I got these tomato cages down here to this side of the garden where we're going to put our tomatoes. Now, last year we had our tomatoes kind of in the middle of the garden, and we like to rotate our crops. So what we're going to do this year is put our tomatoes here at this beginning end, I should say, of our garden, and I'll show you. As you can see, we're on the total opposite other side, I should say, of the garden from where we put in our cucumbers. That's the opposite side of the garden where the cucumbers are. That begins the rows over there. So this year, we're going to start our tomatoes here on the opposite side. Whereas, like I said, last year, we had the tomatoes in the middle. Y'all, I'm telling you, these gnats are going to drive me insane. I got my measuring tape because tomatoes should be anywhere from 12 to 18 inches apart. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go in and I'm going to go ahead and make my holes 18 inches apart, and then I'll move on to the next step, which is probably I'm going to get the tomatoes, get them in the ground, then we'll put the cages over them. Y'all see the cattle? They come up this way in the late afternoon, early evening time, and normally they don't come right up to the fence. They seem a little shy of me, but I'm hoping that they're getting used to me enough that they're just going to come on up to that fence. We'll see. But as you can see, right there is our shortest row. They kind of graduate in over on this side because of the way our property is. So we have like short little rows that come in. So I'm just going to start on that shortest end there and work my way in. Okay, I'm definitely going to go for these tomatoes right here in the back. They are for sure tall enough to get in the ground, as are these under here and that tray down there. They're definitely tall enough to go on and get in the ground. These trays are too big for me to put more than just say one or two in there, not even quite side by side. And the side of this cart will come down, but it makes it very difficult to haul them around in the cart because they could slip out. So I'm going to take the time to get all those plants out of those trays and just load this wagon up. Now some of these tomato plants are just too small to put in the ground, so I'm going to put them back in the greenhouse until they get big enough. All right, we get this cart all filled up with lots and lots of tomatoes. I still have a lot more in the greenhouse, but this is a good start to get in the ground. Back in the house because I forgot the most important thing, and that is my crushed up eggshells. As you see right here, we save up our eggshells all throughout the year, and then we crush them up because they are fantastic for your tomatoes and your peppers. And here is a sad update on the hydroponics. It did not work out. The seeds were not good. So hydroponics wasn't a success this time, but all is not lost. I will try again after I order seeds that I know I can trust to germinate. Now I got my crushed up eggshell, it's time to go on and get these tomatoes in the ground. Now before I put my tomatoes in the ground, I'm going to do something that shocks most people. You see these little lower branches? I clip them off. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant this all the way up to here. Sorry about that, I had to turn the camera off and have me a little coughing fit because the pollen out here ain't no joke. But anyway, what I was going to explain is, you might be able to tell it, but there's like some little hairs looking down the side of this plant. Well, all of those are potential roots. So the further I bury this, the more the root system is going to develop and be a great support system for this plant, which will help it to grow bigger and healthier. This is the tool I use to make these holes, and they don't get it deep enough for the depth that I need to get those tomatoes down. So what I'm going to do is this right here. I'm going to use this auger and try to make that hole just a little bit deeper. And next, I'm going to put some of these eggshells in there, and I like to put them in the bottom where the root's at. Now I'm going to take this tomato, I'm going to break it up for them roots to start getting loose, and I'm going to try to bury that as far down as I can. And now that I got my tomato in the ground, I'm going to put a tomato cage over it. And let me show y'all, these are really nice ones. They're coated so nice. And I got a few of these in different colors, and these were gifted to me by my mom. So I'm going to put the nice ones right here on this first row. So anyway, I'm going to stick that right there over that tomato so it can grow up through this cage and be supported. And I'm going to do this all the way through and get all these tomatoes in the ground. Well, I got the first 2 rows of tomatoes in, and I'm just going to call it. I'm tired at this point. I've got part of a row I still need to get some tomato cages on. And then after that, I'm going to get the girls put up for the evening because tomorrow's Mother's Day. And, well, I'm going to go travel to Memphis to be with my mom for Mother's Day. So I don't want to wear myself out too much because I got a trip to Memphis and back tomorrow. But anyway, thank y'all so much for watching this video. And if you haven't already, we would love it if you would like, subscribe, and share. All right now, y'all, until next time, y'all be blessed. Bye. It's 2 days later since we got the plants we did in the ground in the garden, and looky there, y'all. It's raining again. So we'll have to wait until this is over and the ground dries out, and we will eventually get the rest of those plants in the greenhouse out there in the garden. We plant the seeds, y'all, but God makes them grow. His water is the best water.